So as I was listening to Spot, hi, welcome back. My name's Krista. I don't know if you call it channel, I'm gonna pull in, I'm gonna accept the person that's knocking 3 times, which is more than likely yourself trying to talk to yourself. The magic trying to come through you. You stopped believing in magic because everyone that believed in magic along with you, um, they tricked you to think that they stopped believing in magic because that was how they used their magic. They used their magic to lose, you know, dilute your illusion of their illusion, which was a delusion to elude you. You know the words. They lied to themselves so much they didn't know they were lying to themselves anymore. Or they just told the stories they wanted to be true so that they would become true, but they weren't telling those stories for the highest good of all, for the optimal outcome of all. They were telling those stories for the optimal outcome of themselves. For their optimal outcome. Or they were imagining and scripting the stories, those stories for their, or for what they saw was their optimal outcome. They weren't going to anyone but their limited mindset, which was programmed from when they were children. And the people who programmed them were programmed from when they were children and hadn't been reprogrammed, and they were adults. And so that's what we all assumed adults acted like. We knew better when we were children, which is strange. Our past selves are they're teaching their future selves. They're teaching us right now. And they taught us like 10 years ago, and they taught us 20 years ago, and they knew this stuff 40 years ago. They knew this stuff 45 years ago. They knew this stuff 46 years ago. They knew this stuff 55 years ago. They knew this stuff 85 years ago. They can stop teaching us as soon as we hear the knock 3 times. Knock 3 times on the ceiling. Na, 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 na. That knock, 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 that was happening when I was pregnant with my daughter. That was happening when I was pregnant with my son. That was happening when I was pregnant with my oldest. That was happening when when I wasn't pregnant, when I didn't even imagine that I would ever be pregnant, when I couldn't even get pregnant, when I was a child and I didn't even know what the word pregnant meant. But I knew I was a creator. I was creating. But because I couldn't consent to what I was creating just like Sophia. Or I shouldn't say. But because not a lot of others consented to my creations, not a lot of my creations came manifest. That doesn't mean they didn't go into my happily ever after void space. That doesn't mean that they don't still exist out in the wide open spaces. That doesn't mean that even those first step after eye-opening truth of knowing the morality of what societal adults knew of right and wrong and believed were right and wrong, and letting the adults in the home that were now in the society that you were a part of. So you thought, well, maybe the places that they go, they haven't learned this. They don't know that that's what normal people are doing. They don't know that that the morals are this way. Or if they do, one of them is too drunk to know right from wrong because he never gets a clear head. His, alcohol kills brain cells, And the other one is too, I don't want to say groomed because it wasn't groomed, it was weak. Too subservient. It was like one was the dad and the other was the slave. Unless the dad wasn't home. And then the slave became the massa. Pardon me, blackface. It's terrible. Like me impersonating a deaf person. I do a terrible impersonation of a deaf person. Beyond that. But I don't know why. We're doing impersonations of everything. Like accents. All the accents. Trying all the accents. And there was very few I could do. I thought my Scottish accent was an Irish accent. I don't know if I'm even doing an English accent or if it's Russian. That's not true. I know the difference. But, they weren't so hot. They got better with time, I think. I thought they were all very good. But when you're growing up in a narcissistic household, you learn from the one above you because you have to survive. And when the one above you leaves, you are the one that has to survive. So you have to implement the alpha survival techniques. You have to implement the alpha survival techniques because it is a dog-eat-dog world. It is fight or flight or get the fuck out of there, which would be fight, or which would be flight. It's fight or freeze or fight or freeze or, yeah, get the fuck out of there. Yeah, I knew it the first time. But you do need a place to come back to. And the sad part is that the person that would make you feel the best, or used to make you feel the best because it was just you and that other person. My mom was a single mom before she met my stepdad, and then my stepdad offered her a way out of my grandpa's house, and she took it. She knew how to love bomb and I don't know that she did that. I think my Grandpa Londo reminded my father of his Catholic upbringing and his sense of responsibility, to be honest. Or maybe my grandmother did. It very likely could have been that. Three knocks. I told them they could come in and talk so that I could put the message out to you guys. But again, every time, this is what this is the weird thing that happens. They kind of, I have been asked by intuition, basically, that I set up a place to shuffle and put out cards. And that's why I was like, my intuition. We finally got it. Not in my intuition, but my ingenuity. I finally got it all set up so that I could pull out the cards for you. And then, of course, Spot, apparently my new familiar, my spirit animal, my pet, a spider that I was just talking about earlier in the video, happened to be on the table. And I literally, I'm not joking. It was like I saw him swimming in the wax. And I'm like, I was thinking, how am I supposed to save you in there? It looked like he was swimming. Like, I am seeing, it's just, the veil is very thin, and Spirit is showing me magic. You can do magic. You can have anything that you desire. Magic. Don't you know you're the one who can put out the fire? Oh, that last part. Anyways, who wants to put out a fire like this? Who wants to put out? Who wants to put out the spark of the source of all that is? And all that is magic and love and imagination and joy and creativity and safety. It's all of the chakras combined into one big humming, vibrating, energetic, magnetic, gravitational pull of all of us inhaling and then the pause in between and the exhaling, and we're all breathing together as one. And when we breathe together as one, we can sing universe as within, so without. It is the pulse, it is the breath, it is the fire, it is air, water, it is then becoming physical to in and out, in and out, in and out. And the cycle of it is spiral, and we're squaring the circle and we're circling the square, and on and on, and words and salad and vegetables and processed meat and gluten, moringa powder, words. I gaslight you. You fill me up. Why do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down? Mess me around, I mean, worst of all, you never call baby when you say you will. I do a lot of messages in song because that I go to get out the cards and there's no place to lay him down at. I don't like talking to myself because when I talk to myself, I'm called crazy. I don't have a job. And for a while I was living off I was living off the, off the streets. I was living in my vehicle. I was isolated and alone. I was, what was the way and how was the way without a job? I mean, I couldn't get a job because no one really hires a person who doesn't have a landline home phone. Because back in the day, you needed that. And even, especially even, Even now, with all of the ways that someone can hijack your phone, your cellular mobile computer in your pocket device, go to the library and use the internet. Okay, yep. Of course, that's right. Working and expanding energy and collecting the, you know, money the same way as in the 80s, 60-year cycle. It is that way now for a lot of Americans, for a lot of people, for a lot of society. I don't know. It feels like that in the collective. It just feels like that. It feels like the Reagan years. It feels like don't do drugs, dare. It feels like mad. It feels like that. But it doesn't have to be that. You know, I used to listen to the radio to get my messages because the shit that I was hearing in my head, although it felt great, although it was beautiful, magnificent, magical, I mean, beyond the rainbow ideas and thoughts and hopes and wishes and blah, 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 yakety schmackety. Although it was all of that, you know, you can't make a dollar out of 15 cents. It's hard to be legit and still pay the rent. Well, it was also hard to be a dreamer and still pay for a night at a hotel. To get rid of my energy, to use my energy, I was dancing. Not dancing at a club. Well, dancing at a club, but not like to get money. It was to get the energy out. I used to have so much stored energy because I was no longer busting my ass cleaning up after my family. And I know my mom would be like, that's an exaggeration. No, it's not. I was basically cleaning up after people whenever my dad wasn't home. Unless I was in my room doing my homework. And how often was I in my room doing my homework? I did my homework at like 11 o'clock at night, 9 to 11 o'clock at night before I had to go to school in the morning when I wasn't homeless. I don't know why I have to tell the story of my past. I have a roof over my head. I have safety here. I have security. There is a woods out back, a forest, nature, a stream. There are all types of critters I've seen out there. I've seen a salamander, a snake. There are tons of locusts. Pardon me, a possum, kitty cats. There's a mouse in this house. I have a pet spider now. It's a lot. But there's also a lot of souls. They're not trapped by any means, but this is a very comfortable place for them. The water used to be a lot more. There used to be a lot more water. A lot more abundant. There we are. Thank you. The river came further in. The lake came further in. The water height. The water height. The water table. Ah, how the tables have turned. Yes, the tables have turned. The water tables are down. The water levels. I live next to a city called Muskegon, and there used to be a fish, or there was a fish, or maybe still is a fish in the river that the town is named after, called the Muskie. So it was called Muskegon. So then there's Muskegon and Muskegon River, and then there's North Muskegon. It's a popular fish. I don't know if it's extinct, or if it ever was extinct, or if it's still very, or if it's on the endangered species list, or if it's still very plush or plentiful in that river. I'm a feast. I'm abundant. I am prosperous and fulfilling. I am worthy. I'm a feast of plenty. I have enough for everyone and then some. My messages are clear and true. I am magical. I have a great imagination. My creativity is strong because I do have a firm foundation that is safe and secure. And granted, the walls, though sturdy, are thin. The ceiling, though low, is acoustically pleasing and draping itself over me. There needs to be some repairs. However, I am not going to take those repairs upon myself, because this, though safe, is maybe too comforting. And we don't want to stay where we're too comfortable. And the too comforting part about it might be the fact that it isn't in the best shape. And the energy and the energetics of the person that lives here with me aren't the greatest. The frequency isn't the most optimal. It doesn't feel good. It isn't of God. And I don't really always want to be here. But when I leave here, I certainly don't, play music and dance. I ruminate in my mind. And I am planted in not scarcity, not scarcity. It's not a lack of imagination. I can't say that it's not motivation. It's the lack of belief. Because it's not because, hey, we were told that Jesus is going to come back and save us and he hasn't gotten here yet. It's not because blah, 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 or this or that, or this. It's because of the fact that we know we're worthy, and we're told if we're worthy, if we ask, we will receive. We are told all of those things. And I'm not saying this to be puffing up my chest or sounding like a narcissist, but I've worked on myself for a really long time. And, generally to some, they look like short bursts. I get that. I can see that. I can understand that. They look like short bursts of time. That, hey, I'm doing the thing that people want me to do, and where is my reward? And that's not it at all. That's not it at all. I've gotten the reward. And I appreciated it when I had it. And I told the powers that be, Source, God, my loved one, everyone I knew, how grateful I was for having that joy. I'm grateful now to have a bed to sleep in. It was not fun waking up in the morning and having to piece away that I had to hold it so many times and then my back would hurt, and it was embarrassing to shit myself in a library parking lot. Pee myself in the parking lot of a gas station and not being able to I couldn't do anything about it. Nothing. It would not stop. These are past embarrassments, though. I can get up, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, take a shower, have a great breakfast, get ready to go tackle the world. But what can I tackle the world and do that will bring me to a spot in the universe in which case I can experience all of the love I feel within me that I don't seem to be able to express. I've recorded videos like this time and time again, told people how wonderful they are, told my kids how much I love them, told people how much I want to help them, told myself how great I am, told God what a beautiful world this is, told my higher self how and I haven't made it like a job because I don't want to work every day. However, I want to make this a job. I want this to be, I want talking to people that need help. Being able to be at the very end of all of it. I want all of us to be able to feel better. All of us. I want to be able to see my kids give my grandmother a hug one last time before she goes. All of my kiddos. And they are my kids, and I am a mother. I am their mother. And I realize that kids change faster than adults. Babies move on so quick. And I can't keep feeling the emotion of my aches. But I feel them every day. I can't keep expressing the emotions, but I feel them every day. I don't want to bury kids that are alive. And I really don't want to grieve the loss of children that are alive. I don't want to be denied my rights, denied the right to raise the children that I created. I don't want someone else to teach them the things that they need to know to raise the vibration of this planet and to help them live the most optimal life for themselves and to help others do the same so we can experience, so their children can experience the most optimal timeline, the most beautiful experience, the most passionate, in a good way, pleasurable paradise on this planet. I want to cut that cord with those energies that say, if I feel good, I must be doing something bad. If I hear things that others don't hear, I must be crazy. If I see things that others don't see, 3:33 on the clock, I must be crazy. You know, the only thing I have a hard time believing is one of the easiest things that there is to believe. Beyond the extraterrestrials or aliens or what have you. Beyond fairies, elves, gnomes, dwarves, goblins, witches, not in a bad way, but you know, etc. Out of all those things, the things that I have the hardest time relating to or falling into place with or having it resonate with me, the Anunnaki and another planet having a war, or other planets having a war right now, or ever, I'm having a hard time with. But Lemuria and Atlantis warring with each other, I have a hard time with that. I can't see us being that advanced of a civilization and warring with each other. I think there was like a planet got too close, or a solar flare, something unexpected that we weren't paying attention to because we were just doing our thing. We weren't really interested in the outskirts of us because we were all that was. But I have a hard time thinking that us as Lemurians or them as Atlanteans had no interest in anything outside of us. And, you know, so that's conflicting in general that either existed. I've been rocking this whole time. Anki and Enlil and Lilith and their baby. Samael. There it is. Samael. Oh my gosh, the S words. So here are some S words for you, right? Give me my glasses. I can't read anything without, I can't see anything without my glasses. Ouch, both of them. Why is my... Struggle, survival, scarcity, separation, suffering, Samhain, soul, spirit, spark, spiral. Where's the other page with the S words on it? And then it might take a minute. Oh my gosh, I've written a lot of stuff. Is it the S words? No, but I thought I wrote on the back of all of these. Oh. What is going on? I didn't write on the back of any of those. Oh, here we go. Strife, strives, shadow, survival, slave, strength. There were a ton more. Where did they all go? Oh, I hate that I'm recording right now. I should pause it. Pausing. Haha, here it is. Sandalfin, seraphim, serene, serpent, self, Sarah, silent, smile, soul, shape, shadow, spirit, similar, spiral again, same, star, silver, sun, spiral, square. Storage. Silliness. Safety, security, self. I didn't already say that. Stillness. Surrender. Shit. Sexy. Sticky. Spectrum. Solar. Sabotage. Sky. Source. Secure. Stabilize. Sleep. Slave. Sloth. Spot. Spark. Serendipitous. Serpent. Sponge. Sahara. Savannah. Serengeti. Swamp. Sea. Alright, system. Surpass. Support. Satisfaction. Have we made our point? Shift. Step. They're not all bad, right? Superb. Sustain. Subconscious. Seeker. Seer. Sovereign. Suppress. Serene. Scribe. Sound. Did you hear the sound back there? Stress. Sufficient. Substantially. Schumann. superpositioning, superstitious. We already used those. Settings, show, skin, scrotum, spotted, seminary, Simon, sit by the cunt, Simon, sit by the cunt, sheath, strong, synonyms, I just said some, Shakespeare, Saturn, shape, stereo, haven't made our point. Poltergeist was on that one. Been dealing with that. Oh, Satan, of course, can't forget Satan. Didn't we already say that? We said Samuel. I think we made our point. Stone. Scythe. I don't know. I'm hoping that you're hearing all the noises that are coming from the back. Sports. The game. The essence. The sacral. The solar. And the roots. Feeling that should be accompanied with at the root. Gratitude, the sacral, compassion, the solar, surrender, the heart, joy, the throat, truth, the third eye, calm, the crown, open, and the caw, worthiness. The eighth, because in Hermetics there's 8 principles, and therefore, it's always going to grow until it gets to 10, and then we're going to go back again. I'm a poet, I don't know it. I'm a $1 billion baby, not just a million, a milli, a million here, a million there, something about Mother Nature and Father Time and dreams. And that's why I never see her, whatever. Don't sleep. I know just what you're thinking, so please stop explaining. Don't tell me because it hurts. Nobody really wants to hear what they need to hear. The nervous system and the path of God. He's making a trail all the way down your spine and all the way back up again. Round and round we go. Where we stop, nobody knows. Nobody is everybody, and nothing is something, and nothing is everything. And again, another word salad that we keep wanting to get into, huh? Supposed to bring out the cards. Ingenuity. And in an hour and 15 minutes, I'm supposed to be in an AA meeting about 45 minutes away from home. I'm exaggerating. It's not 45 minutes away from here. But who in the fuck went with me from group 7? The winning algorithm. Thank you, Sophia. Christos. Mary Magdalene. 13th disciple. Ugh. I keyed. What dog? What was the name of that dog? Toons is the driving cat. Wonder what happened to Spot. 45 fucking minutes later. 48. Whatever. Okay. Bye.